And I think Codeplay would be a great platform
who are local champions already.
In Saudi, we have a very clear vision 2030 that we need to achieve certain milestones.
Central Asia is growing and booming.
It's very important to fix your product to the region where you go.
Now expanded to 13 countries.
A lot of the startups have a very good problem statement they're solving.
I think it's very important to get a local partner.
Hello, dear ladies and gentlemen. This is podcast PRO ERTEN. And here we talk about technologies, business and innovations. My name is Elnora Razmuhamedova and I am CEO of this media. And today we have very special episode dedicated to the Digital Almaty International Forum 2025. Let me introduce Mohamed Al-Rafi is Assistant Deputy Minister of Digital Entrepreneurship at the Ministry of Communications and Informational Technologies at Saudi Arabia. He leads project that aim to catalyze digital entrepreneurship ecosystem and contribute to the creation of Saudi unicorn companies. Hello.
Hi.
Yeah, thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, our next guest is Tulueushin Каныш Аманбаевич, First Vice Minister of Digital Development, Innovations and Aerospace Industry of the Republic of Kazakhstan. Let's go further. Жанадил Талдыбаев, CEO and founder of Codeplay, one of the most famous and hottest startup now in Kazakhstan. Жанадил was included in the Forbes Kazakhstan 30 under 30 list this June 2024. And I finished the presentation of our very special guests with Sultanov Aslan Kuanishevich. Aslan is co-founder and managing partner of White Hill Capital, which manages the 30 million Tumar Venture Fund and specializing in Middle East and Central Asian regions. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, this podcast, I think, has like global significance, and all insights that we will have today, we can share with our followers and audience. And of course, the key focus of our discussion is the collaboration between MENA countries and Kazakhstan. My main question to all of you is what efforts are currently being made in this direction?
Yeah, so I think I'll be speaking from the private part, definitely. So, I mean, I'll tell a little bit what we do. So basically, we run a venture fund which is aimed to support startups like Жанадил, basically, who are local champions, already have traction, already have sales, already have businesses within the Kazakhstan, and now they need to scale. So in that sense, we support them on the ground. So basically, with the support of the Ministry of Digital Development of Kazakhstan, they opened three, basically, I would say, not branches, but points, like one in the US, was managed by Aset, and another one in Southeast Asia, and actually I'm heading the Al-Farabi Innovation Hub in Saudi Arabia. So basically we find and locate these kind of champions, bring them to Saudi Arabia, and help them soft scaling with supporting them on the ground with legal things, investments, etc., etc. So, and at the same time also we provide some funding to them. So basically that's what we do in short. So. And in that sense also we're supported by the Saudi Ministry of Communication, which is also helping us with bringing actually the main ecosystem stakeholders like venture funds, other things. So that's in short basically, this is the kind of things we do.
Okay,
from my
Mr.
side.
Al-Rafi, can you share your experience?
Absolutely. So I think today we have, with how technology is progressing and moving, and we in Saudi we have a very clear vision 2030 that we need to achieve certain milestones. To get there, we really know that we cannot do everything homegrown. So we have to do it with collaboration with the rest of the world. Saudi being positioned like in the center, east is Asia, west is Africa, north is Europe. So it's a very strategically positioned to be the hub for MENA region for any company, especially that will help us fill the gap for us to reach our vision. So I think exactly a year from now, we was my very first visit to Kazakhstan. I met with a lot of new friends back then and made a lot of introductions with the help of the ministry and my brothers here. And since then, I think we've met with most of them multiple times in Riyadh.
Yes.
And one example is
Cozy Play,
Play,
Startup.
and some others that already are actively. I'm not saying they have already grown, but I think that in a span of 1 year, having this like first introduction realized into actual business on the ground. And I think last week I met with a number of startups from around Central Asia, not only Kazakhstan, in Riyadh, who've been there for a couple of weeks and will continue to be there. So I think having those types of connections to a market that is culturally very close to our
Yes,
culture.
sure.
The consumer behavior is very similar. The time zone is not far from where we are. And then I think that it is, for us at least, considered very greenfield because not many people have expanded to this market. So I think both ways is very much needed for our collective objectives, to meet our collective objectives.
Yes, so many points, yes, which will be. And it seems like we can have synergy with such
100%.
collaboration, yes? Okay. Mr. Vice Minister, last year was very, very active with the news about collaboration with MENA region, besides other countries. Yeah, why it's so? How do you think?
Yeah, thank you. So it's very interesting. So basically, right now we build our ecosystem, which has all main elements, and thanks to this ecosystem, we have managed to raise a number of good startups, including Janadil and the rest of the IT companies in Kazakhstan. And of course, Kazakhstan is not that big in terms of the market, and even Central Asia is growing and booming, but still, I think that is not the limit for our startups. That's why we are promoting them globally and motivating them to expand their business. That's why we are establishing the hubs across the world. So, we have a hub in Singapore that covers Southeast Asia. We have a hub in Silicon Valley that covers North America. We have a hub in London, which basically touches entire Europe. And of course, MENA is an amazing market. And as my brother and friend Mohammed already mentioned, we have a lot in common. And we launched a hub in Riyadh. And I think that was a good pick and choice. We have very good relationships with Saudi at the top level, at all levels. And of course, when you have hub, you must have all instruments on the ground. And of course, Aslan is helping us. So basically, there was a first kind of group of startups that already went to Riyadh, trying their luck. And they have Aslan, who is basically helps in terms of networking, providing all types of facilities, infrastructure, and of course, venture capital fund. That's basically an idea in a nutshell, what we have, and hopefully it will grow further.
Yeah, Janadil, thank you very much. Janadil, as a live example here, like superstar startup, you really have cases of attracting big checks, yes, last year from venture capitals, funds, and why you also decided to go to MENA region?
When we expand to other countries, we always see how friendly the market is for our product at first, and for our company. Like we start up from Kazakhstan, and we now expanded to 13 countries, like starting with South Korea, Indonesia, Central Asia, and MENA. And we saw that in MENA, we found, as our guest said, a lot of some similar points with our culture, with our alignment, and also MENA countries, especially Saudi, they're focusing on IT development very well in comparison with other countries. And I think that, for example, in Kazakhstan, it's jumped some steps in terms of be like IT country, as our president said. And now I think we are doing good, and we're trying to expand our technology. And this MENA doing the same. They're also doing very well in terms of supporting startups, supporting IT companies, and also all of us can see the result of such efforts from government and from a lot of partnership with government and private sector, as Aslan and our distinguished deputy ministers. And I'm personally, frankly speaking, very love this partnership, because we take all of advantage of such partnership. Because when, for example, we go to MENA, we have support of Al-Farabi Hub, we have support of from our country, and then the collaboration between Kazakhstan and MENA allows us to land slightly to this country. And for example, in comparison with some other European countries or some USA countries, and MENA for us, it's like very comfortable market at first. Second, schools, for example, we are working with schools, and schools are very motivated to teach children to IT skills, to digital skills, and we see the growth of the level of education, and it's growing very fast. And as I know, the Saudi became one of the fastest growing, like in IT sphere, right? In the leap, Minister His Highness Al Swah also said that like Saudi aims to be one of the most growing countries in the IT sphere, and I think that our product can help with this mission, and like we're trying to do our part.
Great, thank you. Yes, and Mr. Sultanov, now let's talk about more IT expert topic. And what criteria do you prioritize when you evaluating startups with expert potential, and are there specific industries that you see as particularly promising for international expansion?
Yeah, actually, just yesterday, I mean, if we speak about what to do, just yesterday on my panel, actually, I was telling, I got some statistics on Saudi Arabia. So, like, you have already launched like 22 data centers, 40 are more built. The investments into AI infrastructure are expected to rise up to 20 billion. And we, with Mohammed, discussed that you're about to launch this big company, right, which is specifically dedicated to artificial intelligence. So in that sense, I would suggest that the companies that should be basically coming to that region, I mean, they should be more, I would say, sophisticated. I mean, as we have this good technical legacy, I mean, of mathematics and other guys who can do many things, I would suggest this kind of companies basically to come to Saudi Arabia. Because, like, I mean, definitely right now everybody's coming there to the kingdom. So, like, we cannot impress them with another marketplace, with other things. Definitely, we're lucky to have like a really specific project like Janadil has. But I would say that more generic startups, I would say, are more eager to fail, actually. So in that sense, we should bring something which is like more sophisticated, more technological based. So that's one. But also another thing which I would think I would ask Mohammed to comment. I mean, definitely I would warn the startups. I mean, the money is there, the capital is there, but it's not like it's easy to get. So I think that will tell you. So I mean, when you go there, I mean, you should have patience. I mean, you should have right entry to the market. Like yesterday, if you could comment, Mohammed, like you did see our starters, but what do you think would be the secret sauce? I mean, of going into the market? Yeah, not even like attracting money. One of the things, but getting the business, because it's not like you go there, you just
everybody waits you.
Get
Yes.
capital. Yeah, you have to work on that. Yeah,
Absolutely. So I think very key, in my opinion, is what problem are you trying to solve here?
Yeah.
So what is your problem statement? A lot of the startups have a very good problem statement they're solving in this market, but maybe it's not the same in other markets. So what are people currently doing, and what would your solution or your product help them do better or do differently? And I think that also works, by the way, vice versa, because you could find a startup there that is missing in this market, where you can say, okay, I will copy the same model, or even collaborate with them to bring them to fill this gap. A key challenge I see, or I would anticipate for some of the startups, is they're coming, we're doing business great in like Kazakhstan or Central Asia in general, and then we're bringing that as is to work in Saudi, which is not always how it works. So first, okay, no, what changes do I need to do, and what problems I can solve for my customers.
Product market fit, yes, as it's everywhere.
Exactly.
Yes.
But I think there could be product market fit here, but the product could be customized to fit a different market. That's what I mean. So I think this is very key. And the second is plug into the ecosystem. Meet your counterpart founders. Because the entrepreneurship is an ecosystem. In Saudi, we just started like a few years ago. So everyone knows everyone. So if you get plugged into that ecosystem, getting to know what worked for others, and more importantly, what did not work for others. So what mistakes others have done, so you can they help you avoid them in the future. I think this is very key. And sometimes a lot of founders, and I'm not including anyone in this room or anyone I have met, but they are stubborn, and this is what I think needs to be done, and this is how I will do it. I think being agile is very, very key to adapt to new markets.
Yeah, and I think I would add, I think it's very, I mean, from my experience also, like, I think it's very important to get a local partner. I mean, definitely, like, you have to have local Saudi investors, Saudi partners working with you. As here, for example, I cannot imagine some company, foreign company coming to Kazakhstan doing everything on their own. So definitely should expect hiring local people, partner with somebody, and I think that would be a key to success. I think with you, with Janadil, I think why it got successful, because I think exactly 1 year ago at Leap, actually, you partnered with Isla, right?
Yeah, I think it's a key point, because we're working in more than like, say, 10 countries, and I can see the similar points with Central Asia and some Arabian countries, especially Saudi Arabia, that making partnership is something essential, something natural when you're doing business. So it's all about partnership. You cannot do everything you own, and people in our country, in our region, and in MENA region, they understand it. No need to explain why do you need that. But for example, in South Korea or some other countries, some European countries, it's not so like natural, not so common, and you should like explain, you should ask, and so on. But for example, when I met Ayla, like there was maybe like 5-10 minutes. We talked. We understood that we can help each other. I can help to expand Central Asia. He has a lot of big network in Saudi, and can support our product. And we just understood each other, and there was like magic, you know. No need some extra words. We understood, and we just started to execute. And I think that it's very important thing to find a good partner.
Yeah. And what helped you to find a partner in short period of time?
Events like
networking.
Yes, events like Digital Mati, and in Saudi it was Leap. We met in the Leap. Like such events helps very well in terms of finding partners, finding companies who can you collaborate with, and just to understand the market and understand the situation on the ground.
Okay, thank you, Janadil. And as Mr. Al-Raifi already said, it's very important to fix your product to the region where you go. And what about your case? Did you have this experience of changing your product while you went to a new region?
Yeah, sure. So we have our core product. So it's the core product. It's educational program, the curriculum, and we have like technology which delivers this curriculum to the audience, to the schools. So the way of delivering the information, like through mobile application, like platform and hardware, is the same. But the content itself, like curriculum, it's adopted in each country. For Kazakhstan, especially Central Asia, mostly the same. For South Korea, it's a little bit slightly edited. And for the Saudi, we adopted to the Saudi market at first. And so it's only to talk about the content itself. And also it's about like language, some cultural aspects, and so on. And even in this term, we always need a local partner, because we cannot do it ourselves. We just don't understand fully and that's why.
Yeah, but so many work stays behind the scenes, yes.
Yeah,
And
sure.
startups is differ from business when you have to run during you do something.
Yeah, the same thing with a Saudi startup, Ayla. They expanded the Kazakhstan market, and we're helping them to localize their product here for Kazakhstan market. And like in terms of translation, in terms of putting some their function onto the high, and so on, and like it works in both way.
And then question to Mr. Tulushun, how do you help to overcome those obstacles for our startup ecosystem when they want to go abroad?
Okay, how we help? Well, on the government level, G2G, of course, we need to start from that to establish trust relationships, and it has to be always a win-win. So, and second, then in all our hubs we have partners that are from the business. So it's not government guys, you know, like people from embassies, like working and establishing this hub. So we need to trust business people on the ground because they know their business. All they need is just to support from us, different type of support. So in Silicon Valley, there is, as I said, you know, maybe you heard about him. So in Saudi, it's Aslan. He has a good experience. So we have own kind of criteria when we select the partners who will be actually in front and working on behalf of, partly on behalf of country. So basically, we have a special program which covers some costs of these, let's call them ambassadors, digital ambassadors, and of course they also invest. So we require them to co-invest with us. So basically they spend their own money, and then we see the results.
Yeah.
And this is how we try to support these activities. So and of course, if there is something else needed, like in case of Ayla, for Janadil, what Ayla needs. So if there is a win-win deal, so of course we try to connect to the right people. We call to the Minister of Education and try to expand the business here in Kazakhstan or in any other region.
So the secret formula is collaboration between government, funds, yes, and startups.
If you allow me, I think this all started, I remember when His Excellency Vice Minister visited us late, I think 2023, and we honestly, quite frankly, we did not really know anything about this market or this what activities are happening here. We did not before. No one highlighted any opportunity of collaboration to us in Saudi. So it started there. A few months later, we got an invite. So to highlight how G2G is very important, got an invite from the ministry to our ministry to attend Digital Almaty 24, and then from there we started the collaboration. Then we had Al-Farabi and Kazakh pavilion in Leap, where a lot of startups came, and then we started seeing the ping pong going back and forth until now. And we are just in the beginning. Absolutely, we haven't yet started. I mean, we have a couple of good examples, but this is part of the pilot. But what I mean is, a trigger is through the government, but at the end, government cannot do the product market fit. You cannot do the investment.
Calculate
it has
all risks.
It has to take its own business cycle, business talks, and then due diligence done properly, etc. But at least we do the ecosystem shock, where we connect them and then we see how it flows.
Yes, sounds good.
The hub is not even 1 year old. It will be in March. I think we'll open it in March, right? March last year. So it's not even 1 year.
Yes.
It's a baby.
Yeah.
How does Al-Farabi Hub supports entry of startups to the country?
So, you want to take it? I mean, I can see how, from an ecosystem perspective, we started seeing new activities and a visual of a new market that did not, we did not have visibility to in our ecosystem. We started seeing, and I mean, last year, in almost every event, and in Riyadh especially, we have events almost every day for like startup related events. you started seeing not necessarily from Al-Farabi, from people from Kazakhstan attending those events, making friends, making partnerships. That only started after Al-Farabi started in Riyadh. So having that soft landing platform helps do the connectivity. But what do they provide? I leave it to the
Okay.
Yeah,
experts.
basically, I mean, we're still, I would say, finalizing our model, but basically what we do, so we do all the services for startups for them just to do business. So basically we help them with legal setup, like up to opening bank accounts, how to culturally navigate within the kingdom. So connect them with different ecosystem players, with the government definitely. Yeah, so in the end of the day, so the days just come, and the last thing, basically, later on we'll have also our own office actually. So currently we are at the premises of the big IT park in Saudi garage, but we will move out. Yeah, so basically, in the end of the day, so the startup just should go there, get all this infrastructure done, and just go and do business. That's it. Because I mean, if you go to like we experienced it ourselves, you go to a foreign country, I mean, it takes hell of a time of you basically to get all these things, like 80% of your time, and you don't do business. So basically, he should spend 80% on business rather than doing it on these kind of things.
Yes, very interesting point. Janadil, your experience?
So the support I get from like Saudi, it's like a government support, and like it was very interesting case when I was in Lib. We met with the Ministry of ICT of Saudi, His Highness Minister Al-Swaha, and like I just saw him in the Lib and came him and just started to pitch. And I said that I heard his keynote speech on the Leap about how it's important to develop IT sphere in Saudi and how they focus on, how they have a lot of program to support it, especially IT education. Like, so they have program to increase coders, programmers in Saudi, and they said to me that I have a very good product which can help with this your important mission, and started to pitch. And I think that Muhammad was at that in this ground, and I pitched it. Minister liked it, and he gave me contact of Muhammad. He said text him, he will support, he will help. And next day I texted him, and Muhammad connected with.
Ignored.
No, he answered. He gave me contact of. He gave me contacts of director of startup programs, and we like started to communicate with them. And it was like my first day in Saudi, like my first landing in Saudi. I didn't know anything, and from this point, like I felt myself how it's very like very open, and they really support startups. And even like Codipla at the time was a very little company with only 10 million valuation, and even though like minister spent his time, attention, and his team supported us. And then like at the time Aslan was like trying to make this Al-Farabi Hub story, and at the time we collaborate together, we get a lot of support. And also at the time we didn't know how to start in Saudi, because like we work with schools, we didn't know how to go to schools, how to start working with Ministry of Education, and no information at all. And from the scratch, we started to collect information from different organizations and support programs like Al-Farabi Hub and some other in Saudi. And that's how we just started. And for the first time, for the first stage, information is very important. And the people who you introduce is very important, because you don't know anything. And the first stage, I think it's very well prepared.
To make research about the region, about the culture and people.
Yeah. And the ecosystem, what now trying our governments, like both governments trying to do with the support of the private sector, is very well prepared, and even any startup from Central Asia, from Kazakhstan, go to Saudi, I am sure that the first stage, the market research and what they need just to start is everything is ready, and they can start immediately in Saudi. But how they execute and how they will do business further, so it depends only on themselves.
Yeah. So just to add on that, so basically, not all startup founders are talented and active like Janadil.
Yes,
so
I also want to say
he had his luck and he executed well, right? some usually coders and founders, they a little kind of they have
They
their
close, they like
They
scared.
close and a little scared to talk and speak. That's why they have different types of characteristics in their team. So Janadil has all these kind of skills, but of course they need someone who will speak up, who will connect, and it's like in every business, it's all about networking.
Yes.
So if you have right people there, like a hub who already has his connection, so present properly, right in time. So this is all about this. Like in every country, even US, take Europe, like London, Spain, whatever you want, Japan. So everywhere is about networking.
But if we talk about MENA and especially our case, Mohammed, what attracts you with Codiplay startup?
I mean, I think human capital. So as Janadil mentioned, in our minister's keynote was talking about the importance of having tech talent. And having tech talent, you need to start. You need to upskill and reskill some of your current talent or current workforce, but you need to start from the ground up. And I think with Codiplay and many others, still there will be a gap. And with the pace of change in technology and the adoption of the generative AI and agentic AI and other business tools, if I may, this needs to be more progressive. And the way we are doing the talent building, we have a whole deputyship in the ministry focusing on future jobs and skills that goes from early stage in the education and try to seed the technical skills and the future technical skills and talents. And I think Codiplay would be a great platform to support that progressing faster.
Yeah, thank you. And if we look to the future, how do you think, what are the main trends for startups who just want to be not only local famous, but also expand? Maybe some tips from you, because like 3 years ago, there was not like so many startups, because we as a media was writing and it was, searching one by one all startups. And now it's like 100 startups a month you can see and you work with them. And I think MENA region is also very fast growing. Kazakhstan is very fast growing. So can you share with our followers and watchers those trends that will be really helpful for them in future couple of years?
I mean, my perspective, I wish I have an answer to that. I would be a billionaire.
I wouldn't be here.
So I think if you ask me this question 2.5 years ago or 3 years ago, I would say something totally different than what I would say now. With the age of AI and I think this is just, it's a movement that is just starting. So we don't know what is the future top AI company is yet. We know who are the active players now, but we don't know who would be the next big company in the future. And it is going to be one of those startups we talked about, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So I think the new uses of generative AI, agentic AI, quantum, those like big data processing, automation, etc. Startups are solving a lot of challenges in the world, in biomedical and education and in every
Industry.
and different. And every industry would have agriculture and oil and gas. Every industry would have a very solid use case to adopt those new technologies. So, in my opinion, that area, which is the AI and data related, is going to be the future. Who is it? It's not the current player, in my opinion. It's someone who's building a startup now.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for your opinion.
Yeah.
What about our future unicorn? Yes. Is it
Counting
possible?
on my personal experience, since I was in the business prior to this position in the government, so I knew that, and I know that it's still first about the team. In every startup, if you have the right team members, I think that's very key for any startup to grow globally. Second is strategic partners and investors. If you have in your portfolio, so you should not, dive and jump straight after you get any type of money. It has to be smart money. It has to be a strategic investor, and that's why maybe Janadil also picks. So and thinks before he raises the capital, he thinks who he wants to target. That's second, I think. And third, usually most of the founders, they're tech guys. They're humble. They are shy, and they cannot open eyes too much. And that's why it's all about kind of alternative ideas, alternative thinking, critical thinking. They have to, meet a lot. They have to go on this type of forums like Lead. They have to hunt and not just limit themselves and put them in one country. Then, Janadil, maybe you add.
Yeah, I agree mostly with Kanısh with his words. The team very important. When you try to expand your startup, you make sure that your team on the ground on your home country, on your home market, will execute very well without you, and make sure that your team prepared, that your company itself fully prepared when the CEO or those who are responsible for expanding, going to other markets. So without them, the team itself can execute well. Because I saw a lot of startups. Now I now see a lot of startups who are trying to expand, even though they have a lot of things to do in the local market, and they are not ready for expand. Sure. Because it's always unpredictable. You don't know how many time and how many resources you will spend in other market, and that's why you should do all of your you should make sure that everything is done on your local market, and then you can go outside. And
what make them think like this to expand before they feel?
I think such a good programs which prepared our deputy ministers. It's very attractive foreign startups, and they think that they can just go and succeed because of such programs. But these programs only some part of on some little part of the success. Yeah, sure.
As I said, it gives you the 20%. You need to do the 80%.
Sure, it's only the first stage. They help only with the soft land, but they will not do business for you instead of you. So I think that most of them don't really understand why these supports are existing, and they try to take advantage of such programs without understanding the basics. And that's why the first thing, make sure that your company and your startup and your team is ready for expand and then go global. And the second thing is to think out of circle, don't limit yourself. And as I said, in Saudi, everything started when I just decided to approach to the minister. And that's how we just started to get support. Maybe if at that time I was too shy or think, it's a minister, I can't go with him, because it was so crowded and there was so many people surrounding him, and I thought that I cannot go to him. But I just find a very good opportunity when he was just other people who was circling around him. They was on the backstage, and he just go further. And at that time, I caught him.
So it works, yes, when you catch?
Sure.
Yeah, investor or
always
LP?
It works. Just prepare your elevator pitch, because such people such kind of people very busy, and you have only 1 minute maximum to attract their attention and use it properly. And so it's you should think out of circle.
How many times you repeated your elevator pitch before you say your one, the most important?
Many times. Even when I was walking to him, I was just thinking of what I will say.
Okay.
And so be brave, make unexpected, extraordinary things to make something happen. Because when you do only ordinary thing, you will be ordinary. So think out of circle and try, do your best. And the third thing, just hard working. It's not about just luck. It's not about some good partners or investors. For example, we have investor with 30 million fund, but we don't think that we will just can ask him money and we have a lot of money on us. Yeah, so everything is limited. So it's about your hard working work every time, think about work. So I really like the Jensen Huang CEO in NVIDIA words. He said that he working all time. When he works when he's sleeping, he works when he eating, he works when he like talking every time. Because inside of our mind, our head, we always think about how to solve some problems in our startup, how to go to market, how to find good talents to our company and so on.
And be commitment, have this commitment.
Sure.
To do.
Yeah, it's the first thing you should do.
Yes, thank you. Aslan, your
Yeah,
opinion?
thank you much. Yeah, so I mean, it's very not a good job to do to forecast. I think I'll just share my plans. So we are finalizing our first cohort of startups, so it will end in end of February. So we understand the mistakes, what goes right, what goes wrong, what works, what doesn't. Yeah, and so within this year plans, we want to do a second cohort, but I think it will be very specialized, as I told you before. So we want to do like specifically AI, like light deep tech, this kind of cohort, maybe less teams, 6, 8 startups, but it's very specific. Basically, I think that's one. And on top of that, I think we will be preparing to do the second fund now, which also will be maybe the geographically wise it will be wider, but industry-wise it will be more specific into light deep tech and AI. So that's the two things we want to do on our plans. And other than that, so I relocated there, so some part of our team is also relocated, so that's it. But other than that, yeah, so it was all mentioned by Janadil. Surprisingly enough, you know, like I was myself surprised, like within the cohort we have startups which I thought were amazing, like here locally. Like in Saudi, we have like to like babysit them a little bit. I don't know why that happens, because I don't know, maybe that's really important for the startups to go out of the country at some point of time, because they get their comfort zone, then they get all their sales, they know everyone, this and that, and then when you put them in that environment, they cannot do nothing. That's was a surprise for me. So now I will go back and speak with them, and some of them are really like hustlers. Like they came. Like within 1 week time, they found everything they need, this and that. But some founders actually, for some reason, they couldn't do it.
I think government support in general, not only in those two nations, any government support is a double-edged sword. So
Yeah,
if you
exactly.
give too much of it, or at least from the startup perspective, if you are relying on support you're getting from government, then there is something wrong. You need to do some things differently. So it helps. It should help by mandate. So we're not, whatever we are doing in the ministry. This is what we are. What's our job?
Yeah.
So we are mandated to do that by His Royal Highness, by the upper government. So we're doing our job. But for whoever the beneficiary is or whoever we're working with, should not say my success relies on what you provide. Then that will not be a long story, in my opinion.
Government is a big brother, which not always be with you. Yes.
And surprisingly enough, most of their sales come from government for the startup.
Yeah, I mean, but government drives demand, and whoever, they will never give a contract to a startup to support them, because at the end that's a business transaction. So whoever gives the best proposal, that will be the contract. So, but what I mean is, government, especially in Saudi, is a very big, one of the largest procurer for services, especially. But it's done in a systematic way, and but what I mean is, that's one side. But I mean the government support, whatever you provide, whatever we provide, whatever other government entities provide, should be an enabler. But startups should not say, I am relying, if I don't get this support,
exactly.
I may go out of business. Then there is something wrong that
With the business, 100%.
Yeah, and there's opinion that there are more money on the market now than good ideas. Aslan, from venture fund perspectives, how do you think?
No, definitely. This is always the case. Like even for us, I mean, we're like startups. We invest in on one side, but we raise on the other side. Definitely, good ideas win. Definitely, there is capital, but there is some vacuum of good ideas, of good people who can perform always.
Yes.
100%.
And yesterday on the panel discussion, we saw the video of each of the country of a special IT sector. with and Belarus shows very beautiful video, attractive, like, you know, PR campaign, come to Belarus, and here you have all opportunities to be a good IT specialist, startups, etc. Also, Kazakhstan will have our video. And how do you think this competition between countries, if we talk about IT startups, if we talk about IT expert, what will be in the next 5 years, and how we can also feel ourselves good in this competition, fighting for good ideas and great startups?
Yeah, basically, I will start, and guys, you can jump in. So basically, I mean, purely there is a competition, especially in this macro region we call Central Eurasia. Of course, like Saudi competing in MENA and then globally, every country wants to have a lot of talents, a lot of startups, and we purely understand it. And Kazakhstan is also building their environment to attract a lot of good companies and founders. And you know, like InDrive is here, Netcracker, Playrix, and dozens of these big sharks who generates billions of dollars per year. They already located their business in Kazakhstan, in Uzbekistan, and Armenia, and after these global issues raise up, basically. But still, I mean, the problems will not go in this kind of, will not continue for long globally. And of course, it will come to the end at some point. And you cannot rely only on these geopolitical issues. You have to be in shape, in competitive shape. That's why we are launching new projects, initiatives that you saw probably yesterday during our plenary session and other panel sessions. We are building our AI National Center. We are polishing our legislation, and all these institutional reforms are led by our minister in order to be competitive, and who will have better education, healthcare, infrastructure, all these 4 elements that I mentioned in your ecosystem, that country will win. But the globally, I think the world is so open, and I think I mean there are so many companies that can locate their businesses like almost in all countries, in different countries, and it's more about how you can get benefit out of it. And this is, I think, it's not only about competition. So this is what I would like to mention.
Yeah, thank you for your opinion. So we are ready to finish and to make summary of our great discussion. I think so many insights we share with future startuppers and other players of the market. So maybe each of you also share one idea what can make us go further, be better, and collaborate on international level.
I mean, I think very important to, especially in this day and age, and the way the technology is progressing in the last few years, don't widen in your view, look at the full map globally, and look for what makes your product, your food taste better, basically. So whatever you're selling, and even to your point on the different competition between the different regions, that's good. If I'm a startup, I'm the best time to be a startup, where a lot of people trying to get your attention. But if you're going after whatever subsidy, whatever support you're getting from this nation or that nation, even if it was significant, even if it was like millions of dollars of grant, for example, if it does not make your food taste better, then you don't have a product. So that would be additional things in your restaurant, but whatever is sellable, whatever there is a product market fit, there is potential business growth opportunity globally, and don't look at only your surrounding areas. Look at the full globe. And I think we've seen many examples of startups in the last last week, where in a day and night they reach hundreds of millions of people with a click. So I think, looking at the full globe now and trying to see...
Think globally, and make your
100%.
products rockstar everywhere.
100%.
Okay, thank you. Other
I
thoughts?
think that's the most important thing, as you said before, previously, it's commitment. If you are going global, expanding, be ready to to a lot of unexpected things happen, and nothing happens as you planned, nothing. And always it's about how you react to some obstacles, some problems, and some unexpected situations. And be patient and focus. That's the most important things for founder, just to try to some story happen.
Thank you.
Yeah, from my side, I mean, we definitely operate in a very high risk environment, so I would say take more risk. Yeah, don't regret it when you
Don't be afraid to fail. Yeah.
Yeah, better try, maybe fail. Try.
Yeah.
Always look for your next mistake.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. And MCRIAP, I think, has the greatest experience of those who fail and those who rock. Yeah.
Yeah. We also fail. We also do a good job. It's okay. We learn.
Yeah, and I think not forget to share your experience, your thoughts, the way you pass your way, because it's when we learn from each other, I think we go faster.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you very, very much. So it was a unique international episode of podcast PRO ERTEN. You can not also watch us on the YouTube, but also listen us outside on. You can not also watch this video, but also listen our podcast on Apple, Spotify, Yandex platforms. Thank you. See you next episodes. Thank you for watching us. Stay with us. Bye-bye.
Bye.